Anime Abandon has had a tumultuous relationship with Clamp in the past, disparaging a number of anime adaptations based on their popular manga, but I never really delved too deep into who and what they are. Well, better late than never. Clamp are an all-women collective of manga artists and writers that started in the mid-1980s. From their inception to now, they are considered one of the most successful manga creators of all time, selling over 100 million copies of their manga all over the world. Through the years, their numbers have been pared down from 11 to 4, 3 artists and 1 director/writer, all 4 going by pen names. Over their existence, they have been responsible for a number of classic titles, including Cardcaptor Sakura, Chobits, and the Tokyo Babylon saga. However, as celebrated as their manga are, the anime adaptations based off their manga have been hit or miss. But on Anime Abandon, they've struck out so hard they drilled themselves into the earth. The main problem that has dogged all of their anime we've covered is that their long-form storytelling is not suited for something like OVAs or films. Because their plots play out over several years worth of manga chapters, any kind of adaptation derived therefrom have to be truncated and distilled down to the point of cliff notes, which is the kiss of death for such character-driven stories that Clamp creates. Which is why their television shows have fared much better than their shorter-form brethren, because they finally have the chance to breathe and tell their stories. A luxury that the anime based off of their very first manga never had. Yes, from 1991 to 1992, an OVA adaptation was made from Clamp's debut manga, Rig Veda. And yes, it is supposed to be pronounced that way, since the title is based off an ancient Vedic Sanskrit tome held sacred by the Hindu religion called Rig Veda. What does that have to do with the anime proper? Outside of the characters' names, very little. Why did they drop the I? No clue! This is like if I tried to call Anime Abandon Lord of the Rigs. Nomenclature absurdity notwithstanding, Rig Veda doesn't stray far from your typical early 90s Clamp anime. It's at times visually pretty as well as ridiculous, it's melodramatic, it's pointless, and you're left feeling like you haven't gotten the full story at all. Or even half of it. In other words, it's a January anime. This is Rig Veda. Well, at the very least, the anime has the good common sense to have a cheesy baritone voice narrator fill us in on the kind of schlock we're in for. Seems that a barrel-chested Bishi has severed an emperor's head and proclaimed himself King Shit of Dick Mountain.
A warlord called Taishakten had instigated a rebellion and had slain the emperor. Taishakten triumphantly displayed the severed head of his enemy.
He also lost a bet that would force him to wear nipple tassels on his armor. A young Joel Schumacher would stare up in awe. So what does a god king do, besides lounge around in his open robe? Seriously, this guy's chest is so massively wide you'd think he'd be leading the First Order. Well, what else can a character from a Clamp anime do? Play the exposition bunny.
When it became known to Yasha that I killed my old enemy, King Ashura, who was the nucleus of the 6 stars, destiny had been set in motion. Yasha came from the north, Ryu from the west, and Karura from the south. To think that 3 of the 4 warlords of heaven were each one of the 6 stars.
You know, if you actually started your story at the start of the story, you wouldn't have to have your characters talk to each other about shit they already know like complete blithering idiots.
I feel like, we should start our stories where they begin, not start them where they get interested.
Get out.
Also, it's nucleus. Okay, so it seems that the Emperor who was decapitated by Darth Bishi here had a daughter who's being protected by warlords from disparate kingdoms, heretofore dubbed the Stars, which there are 6 total, and they are all destined to vanquish Darth Bishi. Personally, I'm surprised I was able to get any of that, considering we're forced to look at Bobby Butnick here sporting some of the most ridiculous armor this side of a Warcraft game. Look at this guy. Are those supposed to be pauldrons or horse blinders? How is he supposed to do anything when his peripheral vision is so shot he makes Mr. Magoo look like Bullseye? So we join 4 of the 6 stars as they happen to come across a slain village that used to be part of Tall, Dark, and Brooding's dominion.
Hey, Yasha, wait.
Wait, Ryu.
Wait for what?
Just leave him alone for now.
But why?
This was the home of Yasha's clan, the place he tried his best to save, but couldn't. You should understand, since you are a king as well.
Do you see what I mean about this careless distillation? I just showed you everything you needed to know about this character's background and history in 15 seconds. I shouldn't be able to do that. But why are they stopping here, other than to give Broodfather a chance to mope? Well, they seem to be in search of the two other stars to take on Darth Bishi, and that supposedly led them here. And to this character that's also here for some reason.
Kushaku! You're looking healthy, Ashura. Your complexion is good. Yasha must be feeding you quite well. It's great to see you again. Aw, what's wrong? Let me see those big puppy eyes.
I am not a puppy, you know.
Pooh, well, my apologies. It looks like they're here to find Ash Ketchum for destroying her bike. And don't get too attached to this guy, people. He does about jack of shit over the course of the anime, and the only identifiable feature he has is that he sounds like he stepped right out of 1992.
Boys from the Ryu clan are so spirited. If Yasha's clan would have been like yours, they might still be hanging around.
Awesome use of the language, dude.
The crew make mention that Darth Bishi is more than likely luring them out to this area, but how he's doing that, I have no clue. Nor do I know why this kid keeps copying an attitude towards Misty here.
Ashura, you won't be sleeping in a tree, so please keep away from me. Get it? Got it? Good.
Okay, I'm sure a lot of you out there are recovering from that head trip of a line, like I had to, but here's the real kick in the dick. They stole that line from Lost and Found.
Get it? Got it? Good.
I don't know what's worse, that they stole a line from a bottom-rung David Spade movie, or that was the best version of the clip I could find. Go fuck yourself, Amazon! So the group spends the night in the ruins, and after Misty and Adrian Broody have a little nighttime powwow, they make their way back to camp when suddenly...
What's wrong?
Ashura, stay back.
Oh shit, I don't know how they did it, but those butterflies have tracked me down. I'll be goddamned if I let those monarch bastards take us alive. In a truly bizarre scene, Broody starts slicing away at the butterflies, all the while the anime tries desperately to make this seem scary. But then you realize that they're being attacked by butterflies! That's just one step away from being forced to hunt ladybugs in Final Fantasy XIV. And despite their valiant efforts, the butterflies overtake Broody and teleport him away. Oh, god damn it, this is horseshit.
There's an uninhabited ice castle in that area, sir. I believe it was King Yasha himself that had reported on the existence of a demon that lived there.
And one of them has just captured that clan's single greatest swordsman of all time. This is turning into a rather amusing story, don't you think?
Up until the Butterfly Massacre, I would have said that you were full of crap, Darth Bishi, but now, I'm all in. Seems that one of the stars, who just so happens to be Darth Bishi's court harpist, overhears them talking with Budnick, and summons her ninja handmaiden here to go and warn them about the trap that they already sprung. Oh, and lest I forget, these two characters also do absolutely nothing by the end of the anime. But what about Broody's fate? Why was he abducted by that demon? What could she possibly want with him?
I'm so lonely. She said she was lonely. I don't want to be alone again. I don't want to be lonely.
If only the anime gave us a clue.
Then I won't be alone again. And I won't be lonely. I'm all alone. I'm all alone. I've been waiting here all alone for 300 years.
Anything! Anything at all!
They left me all alone in this place.
She was so lonely.
I was so lonely. And said she was lonely.
Remember, never repress the counting gag. The rest of the group managed to meet outside the demon's ice castle walls, and this is where the voice acting and writing go from wonky and directionless to straight up don't give a shit territory.
Hold it.
Out of my way! Get out of my way!
Ugh.
Yasha can be such a fool falling for a trap like that. What is he thinking? What?
Ugh.
I'll show you how to get inside there now.
Oh, really?
Ha!
Okay, I've made Anime Abandoned for nearly 200 episodes now, and I've learned to give voice actors some leeway and leniency here and there, but I draw the line at voice actors goddamn quacking! While Lonely Girl 15 is getting all up in her hunk of a man, Darth Bishi's men suddenly poof into being to surround the stars. Unhappy with having unwanted guests, she summons a bunch of ice skeletons and a hydra, and finally we get something going here. Although, if getting the stars to this ice castle was always part of Darth Bishi's plan, why would he need to send his men there at all? Wasn't he counting on the demon finishing them off? Oh, who am I kidding? At least the anime has a pulse now. Misty manages to break away from the melee and scores herself a nifty new glass sword to fight Lonely Girl, who's just at the end of her rope. Even though Lonely Girl has Broody hypnotized and on the attack, the tension only lasts a whole minute before he snaps himself out of it again. And Misty slays her in one stab. That story needed 45 minutes to tell.
Excuse me. We need to hurry. The army is still coming.
Hey, wait a minute, Yasha!
Don't just walk away. Sing us a song.
I want to see him dance. But Taishaktan's army.
How is this a goddamn conversation? It sounds like the actors are reading from 4 different scripts from 4 different anime. I'm not gonna lie, people. As much as the previous episode seemed like an aimless, meandering waste of time, and it was, the second episode is even worse. At the very least, there was a villain that the group had to overcome, and many an ice skelly met their doom. Here in the second episode, absolutely nothing happens. It might very well be the most inconsequential 45 minutes I will have ever screened here. Gotta love January. The first thing you'll notice in the second episode is that the animation is more erratic than ever before. Whereas the first episode maintained a baseline quality of acceptability, considering the era, the second episode has patches of smooth flowing animation and shoddy, some might even say missing animation. The art is also all over the place, where before Darth Bishi's chest was just comically large, now it's 6 times wider than his head. Who drew this guy, Clamp or Rob Liefeld? Also, I don't know why this guy here is giving the old thirsty emoticon look unless he has a thing for women who look like they're recovering from head trauma.
Every time she whines, you let her get away with it. I'm just trying to teach her some respect here, you know what I mean? I mean, it's ridiculous. The girl never listens. She's always...
Ashura.
What happened to that mouthy little twerp? Did he just wander off while ranting about Misty like a goddamn Monty Python character? So, what are our heroes up to today? Well, they're in the heart of Darth Bishi's kingdom because they figure the last stars must be in his castle. Wait, what?
If Kujaku is telling the truth, that means they're probably planning an ambush. Whether we find another to help us, or whether we choose to defeat Taishaktan ourselves, both present the same danger.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. True. If we can't locate the 6th star, we'll never be able to defeat Taishaktan.
Did Robert Altman direct this scene? Why are the characters talking over each other? Also, I hope the twerp didn't break his own neck on the whiplash here. So the group figured they're walking into an actual trap this time, and for the most part they're right, as Darth Bishi fully expects them to appear in his castle's opening night. He seems elated at the prospect, but his queen here is fucking ecstatic.
What will you do with Ashura's head?
I'll tear it apart with my bare hands.
You're gonna rip apart a little girl's head, eh? Oh, wait, not just any little girl's head, but your own daughter's head.
I'm going to be Taishaktan's empress now. I cannot afford to have Ashura's child around me in a time like this. I wish you'd never been born.
Oh, you evil bitch. That's right, she betrayed her husband, sided with Darth Bishi here, and tried to murder her own daughter to secure her place next to him. Though I still don't understand how in the world Misty survived this encounter. The scene just sort of ends with a plunged dagger and that's it. Still, this is unprecedented territory for female anime villains on the show, and I bet you can't wait to see her epic comeuppance. And then you remember what I said about how nothing happens in this episode. Enjoy those blue balls! And the stars descend upon the castle in the stupidest possible plan ever conceived by man. Seeing as how this is a formal occasion, Darth Bishi is wearing his evening nothing. Just put on a goddamn tank top, you douche! Say, the last time Misty saw her mom, she pulled a knife on her and tried to kill her. How do you suppose the reunion will go?
Kill her! Kill her! Somebody kill her!
I don't even know where to begin. Okay, first of all, that hysterical take of this actress is just perfect. Although it does force me to ask the question of, did the queen believe her daughter was dead? If so, then I must ask again, how is she still alive? Secondly, why, oh why, did they insist on using the most famous sound effect in theater-going history? And lastly, and most importantly, the fact that she explodes for seemingly no reason? Well, since subtlety has been nixed out of the equation, the stars basically say fuck it and decide to power through, seemingly forgetting what they were trying to do in the castle in the first place. From here until the end, for 20 minutes, the episode just stumbles to the finishing line. Swords are drawn, explosions happen, but nothing of consequence is achieved, and just some nameless peons meet their doom. The only plot-relevant thing that happens is that they find out the harpist is the missing star, who'da thunk, and the crew runs away as Queen Bitch just lets them go. I know, it's bullshit. And that was the last episode. If the DVD suddenly sat up in its tray and started pissing all over my carpet, it wouldn't be nearly as insulting. Rig Veda just baffles me. As an adaptation, all it does is castrate the source material to the point of being a hit job, and as a standalone anime, it's at best confusing and at worst dull and infuriating. There's a few silly moments and lines that are chuckle-worthy, and it can tread into what in the world territory, but it just isn't worth the needless tedium in between. Even if you were a masochist and you could groan your way through long stretches of boredom, I basically just showed you all the best parts, so yeah, I can't think of any reason to watch this. Surely Rig Veda fits the mold of a January anime perfectly, but this year, I think we need to up the ante. I think we need to push the limit and see just how much boredom the human psyche can possibly withstand. We need a title that is so dull, so lifeless, so bland, so bereft of any talking points that it would drive a lesser man insane. But since I already reviewed The Dark Myth, we're just gonna have to suffer the next best thing. Till next time.